The US is beefing up its presence in the Gulf, amid warnings that Iran could target US commercial ships, including oil tankers. A scheduled deployment of the USS Arlington has been brought forward, and B-52 bombers have arrived at a base in Qatar. The Pentagon is also sending a Patriot missile defense system to the region. The Arlington will join the USS Abraham Lincoln, which passed through the Suez Canal on Thursday. It coincided with an advisory by the US Maritime Administration warning of an increased possibility of action against US and partner interests. Tensions have risen since President Trump withdrew from a 2015 nuclear deal with Iran and began hardening sanctions. This week, Iran said it was scaling back compliance with some of its commitments under the accord. Heavy rain kept the number of yellow vest demonstrators down in Paris as the movement marked the 26th consecutive weekend of protests. Organisers were hoping to regain the momentum following a record low turnout last weekend. The government says fewer than 19,000 people turned out nationwide, although organisers said this was because of major May Day demonstrations earlier in the week. In a bid to widen this weekend's protests, big demonstrations were planned in the regional cities of Lyon, Nantes and Toulouse. More than 5,000 people were expected at the Lyon rally, called to protest against plans to privatise public services. Saturday's rallies come 2 weeks before European Parliament elections, when more protests are planned. The movement began last November as a protest over planned rises in fuel tax. It grew into a wider campaign of grievances against government policies.
At least 65 migrants drowned on Friday after their boat capsized off the Tunisian coast. Now a handful of survivors are in a hospital in the city of Sfax, burdened with memories of a terrifying ordeal. Relating his story, one survivor said they had paid €1,000 to migrate and that the boat had been overloaded. There had been 9 Moroccans on board and he was the only one to survive. The boat had sailed from Libya, where gun battles between rival factions in Tripoli have gone on for 5 weeks.
A 3-year joint operation by Spanish and Italian police has resulted in the seizure of more than 2.7 tons of hashish in the Spanish region of Andalusia. 44 people have been arrested. More than €70,000 was seized, along with illegal firearms. Those arrested were mostly suspected members of the Italian mafia and the Spanish Los Castanas clan. They face several charges, including belonging to a criminal organisation, money laundering, bribery, possession of illegal weapons and possession of false documents. Italian police have been cracking down on mafia groups in recent years, claiming particular success against the Calabrian 'Ndrangheta group.
Pro-democracy politician Gary Fan clambers over a pack of journalists as scuffles break out at Hong Kong's Legislative Council. Fan appeared to want to seize the microphone from a pro-Beijing opponent, but ended up in hospital after suffering a bad fall. Tensions are running high over a new law that would enable criminal suspects to be extradited to the Chinese mainland. Pro-democracy campaigners outside the building claim the law will reduce Hong Kong's autonomy under its one country, two systems relationship with China. But pro-Beijing demonstrators were also out in force. The opposition has just a third of the seats in the Legislative Council. Relatives of thousands of people who've disappeared during the course of Mexico's war on drugs have marched through Mexico City to demand more information about what happened to their loved ones. The march took place on what is Mother's Day in Mexico. For us as mothers of families who are looking for a missing child or family member, says this demonstrator, we basically have nothing to celebrate. The authorities have to start listening to us. It's estimated 40,000 people have gone missing since Mexico began its war on drugs in 2006.